Here we are. Talk about Tua. An entire video dedicated to Tua Tagovailoa, dated to my thoughts and opinions and premonition of Tua Tagovailoa. Are you going to listen to this whole thing? Are you going to hear me out? Or are you just going to take bits and pieces of this and run with it? Let's find out. What is up, Fin fans? Yesterday, we broke down the expectations for the team going into 2025. Now I am specifically honing in on Tua Tagovailoa. What do I expect out of this man going into 2025? Now, I have done this for the past however many years. I think I've done this for all the quarterbacks. And here's my thing that makes me laugh. I say these things and I mention these things and all of this, and then people just ignore it. There's people on the internet that want me to either say he sucks or he's elite. That's not how life works. It's not black or white. It's gray. The world is a big old gray blob floating through space. I don't care that people think it's blue marble. So people are just listen to what I have to say. You know, back in 2024, I was talking about him. Actually, I think it was 2023. No, it was 2024. I was talking about his contract. I said, you know what? Have him play on the 5th. Because he stayed healthy for 1 year. Cool, whatever. I need to see him do it again. I need to see him get over that hurdle. That's what I said. But people still get on me. People still hate me. People still Tua here and you're Tua on and Tua this and Tua that. All because I point out stupid arguments. Well, in this video or on this podcast, depending on how you're seeing it or hearing it, if you want to listen, link is below. I'm going to go so far in depth on my thoughts of Tua Tagovailoa, so far in depth on my thoughts of what I expect from him in 2025, so far in depth of what I will or won't do depending on how he plays, that there can be no person who sat here and listened to me talk and be confused by my thoughts on Tua. I've been saying my thoughts on this man for years, and no one listens to him. Not no one. I apologize. There's a loud minority that doesn't listen to me. Let's see if they listen today. And if you don't, and you comment something, I'm just replying, busted. Busted. You didn't listen, you busted. Okay, so let's go into this. We're going to look at some stats. We're going to look at some things about Tua, and then, we'll go from there. So 2023 was his best year. He played all 17 games. Fantastic. The man played 17 games. He led the NFL in passing yards. He 69.3 completion percentage, was number 5 in the NFL. Number 5th in passer rating, 101.1. 5th in touchdowns, 29. This is what you get if Tua plays the full year, right? You get a good quarterback. You get an above average quarterback. Now, I'm not saying he's elite. Never on this channel once did I say he's elite. I say he has traits that are, but that doesn't make you elite if you have elite traits. Picking up what I'm putting down. Last year, he played 11 games. Technically, he got knocked out of one of them, but he played like a good 3/4 of it. 2,867 yards, which was 21st in the NFL. He still had a 72.9 completion percentage, which is number 1 in the NFL. But again, they weren't really throwing the ball down the field. He was still 9th in the NFL in passer rating with a 101.4 and 19th with 19 touchdowns. I will say this, and I will throw this out there because sometimes I do like to rile some people up. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. Jalen Hurts played 4 more games than Tua Tagovailoa, and he only threw for 36 more yards. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? I'll say it one more time. Tua Tagovailoa played 11 games last year. Jalen Hurts played 15 games last year. Jalen Hurts only threw for 36 more yards than Tua Tagovailoa. 36 more yards. Meaning if Tua probably didn't get knocked out of that Bills game, he would have thrown for more yards than Jalen Hurts and have played less games. I just want you to just, stew on that. Let it compress. So, obviously, the biggest thing with Tua Tagovailoa is his health. That is something that I have been talking about. That is something that I have been harping on. That is something I have talked about before the man was even drafted. In 2020, you can go back and watch my prospect video where I said that hip injury scares the crap out of me. And if the Miami Dolphins do not draft Tua because of the hip injury, I am fine with that because I don't know how that hip is going to hold up over the years. Saw what happened. Took a hit, knocked him out. Even though he played the next game, still knocked him out. So there's that, right? His injury history is not something new, and it's something that, to me, during the draft has been a big fat red flag. And a lot of people are like, hey, dog, well, if you could go back, would you take Justin Herbert? No. I'd take Tristan Wirfs. I would take a tackle at 5. And you might say to yourself, well, that's just because you hate Justin Herbert. No. Justin Herbert hasn't done anything either. Justin Herbert choked in the playoffs 2 times. Justin Herbert has fantastic physical traits. He's not great in other aspects of his game. A lot of people want to look at Tua. They're both in the same situation where neither one of them, after 5 years in the NFL, have won a playoff game. Jordan Love has won playoff games. Joe Burrow has won playoff games. Jalen Hurts has won playoff games. Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa have not won a playoff game. One of them had a big lead, blew it. The other one, blew it. The other one, blew it a second time. So, if I had to go back in time, I'm taking Tristan Wirfs, right? That's what I'm doing. And then I'm taking Jordan Love at the back end of the first. That's what I would do if I went back in time. It'd be Tristan Wirfs. It would be Justin Jefferson. It would be Jordan Love. Those are my 1, 2, 3. Or Jalen Hurts. But that's, if I'm redoing 2020, boop, that's how I'm doing it. So no, I'm not taking Justin Herbert because I didn't like Justin Herbert during the draft. And I still kind of don't like Justin Herbert now, if I'm being 100% honest with you. People just love hanging their hat on, his rookie year, he had all these numbers, blah, 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 blah. Second in the NFL and yak. That's all I'm going to leave that one at. So Tua can't stay healthy. The man can't stay healthy. He did a 1 year, and they rewarded that 1 year. And that's something the Dolphins need to stop doing with certain players, is reward 1 year of productivity or reward 1 year of showing health. You gotta give me multiples. Like, I love Jalen Phillips. He's probably one of my favorite players on this team right now. And I defend him till my face is blue. Like, if you really want to come after me for being a stan of somebody, it's Jalen Phillips. Like, I'm constantly like, well, look at Jason Taylor's numbers and he didn't do great, blah, blah, blah. Like, I do it for Jalen Phillips. If Jalen Phillips goes off this year and gets 15.5 sacks, let's say, I'm not paying Jalen Phillips. No. Because have we not learned that we need to see it more than once? So no, I'm not paying Jalen Phillips. I would like to keep him and I would like to give him some type of contract. I don't think anyone would pay him. Just like if Tua Tagovailoa in 2024, the Dolphins couldn't come to some understanding, and then they were like, he's like, well, whatever, I'm leaving or I'm standing out or whatever happens, he wouldn't get that money in the open market because just 1 year of it shouldn't warrant a contract. See what I'm saying? And I've been saying this. This is what drives me nuts. I've been saying this for years, and I said it last year. I've been saying it. I'm not crying. My eyes itchy. So there's that. The hump that I'm talking about. Tua Tagovailoa getting over that hump. Tua gets a bad rap for not being able to beat teams over 500, right? Because apparently there's 11 Tuas on offense. And, certain aspects of the game only warrant excuses for other guys. They don't warrant excuses for Tua, right? Because, you look at the Super Bowl. This past Super Bowl, hey, why did Joe Burrow, and I'm not comparing the two, but why did Joe Burrow lose? Well, it's because his offensive line was crap, and he got dominated by the Eagles' defense. Teams right? You need a team. There's a reason why the Buffalo Bills have not been to the Super Bowl with Josh Allen. It's because there's a certain aspect or part of the team every AFC Championship game that just crumbles, and you can't put it on Josh Allen. Now, I'm not saying there aren't games where Tua hasn't crapped the bed. Look at the Houston Texans game last year. Like, give me a break, Tua. You got to do much better than that. Holy moly, did you get baited by 2 interceptions? And then you throw a 50-50 ball to Tyreek Hill, which if you led him, it's a touchdown. Like, there's so much we can go into. But he needs to get over that hurdle. He needs to play more consistent. That is my biggest knock. If I'm going to sit here and give you an honest critique, my thoughts on Tua's problem. He can't stay healthy, he can't get over the hump, and he can't play at a high level consistently. There are people, and this is where, again, I get lumped into, you defend him at every blah, 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 because people say dumb things. And I have this tick in the back of my head that when someone says something factually wrong and somebody says something stupid, I have to correct them. I've been getting better at it, but it's like it's a tick I have. So when people say Tua can't do something, and I obviously watch every single game, I live stream it, and then every Monday after the game, I break down film, which is me watching it again another 4 times. And when people say he can't do something, and as I'm sitting there watching an hour and a half of footage, watching him do what they just said he can't do, in one game, I see him do it 5 times. I'm like, can you just like not be a butt? You know what I'm saying? So that's what drives me nuts. Now, if people said things like, I need him to do this more consistent, I need to see him do, or he can't do it consistently, I would probably shake your hand and be like, yeah, man, because that's my biggest problem with him. I think Tua is an above average quarterback. And my criteria is bad, below average, average, above average, elite. And then you could say like God-worthy or GOAT, whatever you want to say. I think he's an above average quarterback. I'd put him in the same, like, am I going to do this right now? Probably not, because I can't, my brain's not working. But I think he's an above average quarterback. I don't think he's elite. And I just put him right outside the top 10. If I had to list him where I'd put him, probably in between like 12 and 14 when I would rank him among quarterbacks. If he consistently stayed healthy, as we saw in 2023, where he led the NFL in passing yards, he'd be a top 10 quarterback if injuries weren't his problem. But injuries are his problem. So that's why it knocks him out of that top 11 for me, because he can't stay healthy. But he is a good quarterback. He just isn't consistent. Because we see him, right? We've seen him time and time again go into certain aspects of the games, certain teams he faces, and he does so well. Like 2020, let's go to 2022. Because we'll talk about the past 3 years, because Mike McDaniel. You got the Baltimore Ravens game. No one could sit here and diminish that Baltimore Ravens game. They'll try to. Oh, the secondary sucks, and oh, this and that, oh that. You're at that point, you're just hating, because even some of the biggest haters, you know for a fact, after we won that Ravens game, you sat back and go, is he turning the table? Is he turning the corner here? Like, is Mike McDaniel the one that really is going to help us? Then you look at the Buffalo Bills game that following week. He didn't do much. 13 for 18. He threw for 186 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 123.8 passer rating. That's not a lot, but there was instances in the game that he stepped up and made the plays that we needed to keep us in the game and to help us win those games. Case in point, it's 3rd and like 15 or 3rd and 24 or something like that, and he throws a dot to Jalen Waddle down the seam on 2 defenders, which then puts us in range to score points to keep us in the lead, and then forces Buffalo to do more. If he doesn't do that, that safety probably loses us the game, where we kicked it into the butt of our own blocker. So, like, this is what I'm talking about when people just look at stats and say, like, oh, he didn't even do anything that game. Like, why is he getting credit for da-da-da? When you don't look at instances in that game. And this is when he came back out after everyone thought he had a concussion. Again, jury's out on that, even though technically isn't. There was an investigation. So, and then obviously he had the stretch against Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, Houston. Those teams weren't great, but he came out, especially Chicago, where he had to go tit for tat with Chicago and Justin Fields because our defense didn't want to show up. Same with Detroit. And he put up great numbers, right? He helped this team win those games. And then you have 2023 where he again came out and he did the things that he did and he played really well in certain circumstances. Obviously, we've talked about the Kansas City Chiefs game at nauseum, not in the playoffs, but in Germany, where with the, obviously blame him for missing Cedric Wilson, blame him for the botch snap, but don't forget about the stuff that happened beforehand. Don't forget about 2 rushes getting down to the 31-yard line and throwing it 4 times. Tyreek Hill fumbling the ball, Tyreek Hill dropping a touchdown, Jalen Waddle. Like, let's not forget about other things when it comes to that. But obviously, poops the bed against the Baltimore Ravens, really poops the bed against the Buffalo Bills. And then last year, well, even in 2022, goes into Buffalo. 29 for 32. No, that's not it. Is that it? That is it. 29 for 32. That's the team, Doug. Jeez Louise. I'm like, what am I looking at right now? Anyway, this is pointless because I'm talking about 2025. My point is, he goes into certain instances like Buffalo in 2022, Buffalo last year, he plays really well. He helps the team stay within points. And then obviously either a pass interference, the Bills win, another unnecessary roughness, Bills kick a 61-yard field goal, win the game. And he gets blamed for those losses. You see what I'm saying? And that's my point. So when I'm looking at Tua and my expectation for Tua going into 2025, I need to see him for one. And obviously, this is the biggest thing that everyone needs to see. He has to play all 17 games. Has to. If he gets injured once, I don't care what the injury is. A twist ankle, a stubbed toe, turf toe, ingrown toenail, ingrown fingernail, stubbed finger, sprained elbow, ear infection, pink eye. I don't care. If he misses 2 games this year, it's time to move on. You cannot win games if your starting quarterback is consistently missing games and then your backups are not good. That's not Tua's fault that the backups aren't good. Again, he beat out a guy to take his job in Alabama with a hard-nosed head coach as Nick Saban. I'm going to go off on a little tangent that people need to take a second and take a beat. So many people who don't like Tua, and there are some that are just plain hate him, love to think that he's weak-minded and he's weak. And because of the Brian Flores situation. And what Brian Flores did to him, no quarterback in the NFL has taken. And I've seen John Gruden berate Chris Sims because he couldn't get the play call out, right? Come on, get it. Come on, get it. Go watch it. And then Chris Sims is standing on the sideline, and not Harbaugh, Gruden goes over to him, and he says, "Did I scare you? Are you scared of me?" And Chris Sims goes, "No. I'm in my head." He's like, "All right, well, let me know." That is the difference between hard coaching, but also teaching, and just not wanting this guy ever here and belittling him to get him out of here. Do you see what I'm saying? This man's father took his dominant arm and tied it behind his back and forced him to learn how to throw the ball lefty. His father would tell him, "We're going to go to the beach." And he thinks, "Oh, cool. We're going to go to the beach. I'm going to relax." No, they would do football drills. So if you're going to sit here and tell me that this man is weak-minded and he can't take hard coaching, especially with Nick Saban being his head coach, you're just hating because you're not taking a look at everything. Anyway, back to my point. He has to stay healthy. That is the big and most important thing. The man has to stay healthy. He also has to play more consistently. Has to. We are in a point where, and this is what's the difference between above average quarterbacks and elite quarterbacks. Elite quarterbacks will kind of hide the deficiency of the team, right? We don't have that in Tua. We don't have an elite quarterback in Tua who can hide the deficiencies of the team. We have a very good quarterback, like I said, above average quarterback in Tua, who can help us win, but we can't make mistakes. Case in point, Tennessee Titan game. Case in point, Cardinals game. We need you. My voice is going to be gone soon. We need him to do what he does best, right? Arizona Cardinals game, I think he left the field and we were winning by like however many points. But the Tennessee Titan game, he had 2 opportunities to either get a first down or whatever, and he couldn't do it. Now, obviously, allowing the opponent to score 15 points in 2.5 minutes is garbage, and that should be on the defense. But if we had an elite quarterback, if we had Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, whoever you think is an elite quarterback, Lamar Jackson, we're getting a first down or we're winning the game, right? Or we're getting into field goal range to put the game out of reach. Prime example is the last game of the season, 2023, where he threw the interception, regardless if it was a lazy route, which it was. We're getting there. But we don't have that because Tua doesn't do that consistently. You see what I'm saying? We have parts of our team that aren't good, and we don't have that quarterback to hide those. So Tua needs to play better, and he needs to play at that level more consistently. Is it fair? No. It's not fair for him to look over in Philadelphia and see Jalen Hurts win a Super Bowl on an all-Madden team, where your running back is the best in the NFL, your wide receivers are the best in the NFL, your tight end is the best in the NFL, the offensive line in front of you is the best in the NFL, your defense is the best in the NFL. All you got to do is just play ball. Again, he only threw for 36 more yards than Tua. And he played 4 more games. Like, he doesn't have that. He has a GM in Chris Greer who does not know how to build a team. So he has to play smart football. He has to be a field manager and not throw the stupid interceptions, a.k.a. Buffalo. What was that, week 3 last year? I guess he's trying to throw it out, and he throws a pick 6. Like, just take the sack. Again, these are the things he needs to work on. Don't play hero ball. Take the sack. Don't try to run. Learn to slide. All of these things, if he just hone them in, which he's saying he has, he can help us win. Whenever Tua is healthy, we win. Like, all honesty, and I'm spoiling the prediction video. If Tua stays healthy and plays 17 games, I could see us definitely winning 10 games because he can help us win. But he also needs to take that next step and help us win against the good teams, help us win in those shutouts, help us, not get a field goal, instead score a touchdown, right? Because there are those games where Buffalo last year was a perfect example of him doing it. We needed to score a touchdown to tie the game. He marches down the field, last play, evades pressure, extends the play, hits Jalen Waddle, touchdown, we tie the game, right? Did it perfectly. But there are times where if we get a touchdown, we're up by 4. We don't get the touchdown, we have to kick a field goal. Again, it's not fair to him, but that's kind of what we need out of him. We need him to take that next step. We need him to make the smart throws and the smart decisions because he is incredibly accurate. Like, you can hate him all you want, but he is incredibly accurate. He is a smart quarterback who knows how to read the defenses. How many times has he baited safeties by looking one way, throwing another, bringing the safety over, knowing he wants to get, like, he is smart. He just doesn't do these things consistently. And that's what I need to see out of him in 2025. And that is my expectations of him in 2025. Stay healthy, play at a high level consistently, get over that hump. Because if he doesn't, and if this team, yet again, regardless if he gets injured or whatever, can't do what they need to do, I don't see him on the team in 2026. The Dolphins could save a lot of money moving on from him. Pre-June 1st, they save $11 million from moving on from him in a trade. And post-June 1st, they could save around $40 million moving on from him in a trade. So there's a lot riding on Tua. Like, there's certain aspects, if you took a step back and kind of looked, every year Tua does his Tua Foundation luau thing. Did you notice there wasn't one this year? Did you notice they didn't, take his clause or his exercise, his option and his bonus? and give him the bonus and take 19 million? Do you don't think we could have used that 19 million to structure the secondary and do? There's a reason why the Dolphins are just not bothering Tua. It's because he's probably not going to be here in 2026 if he can't get over that hump. So looking at Tua, I expect 2023, right? 17 games, give me around 4,500 yards. I'd like a little bit more touchdowns. He had 29, give me around 35, and less interceptions. Give me around 10 interceptions. And I'd be happy. I'd be really happy. That's my expectations of Tua. Are they unfair? Are they fair? Comment below, let me know. But this is it. This is it. And again, people heard Chris Grier say a reset or whatever. He can say whatever he wants. I honestly will be shocked if this team wins 8 games or this team doesn't make the playoffs and he's still the GM at the end of the year. Now, does that mean he gets fired? Probably not. They'll do what they did with Mike Tannenbaum. People don't realize that. Mike Tannenbaum was still with the Dolphins. They just stashed him away somewhere. Like, you have no control over the football. None. We're going to bring in whoever, Chris Grier's now the head GM, whatever. They're going to do that with him. Like, if they don't want to fire him, they're just going to be like, all right, you're just going to go over here. All right, let's hire GM. Let's get a coach in here. You decide what you want to do with Tua. You want to decide da-da-da-da-da. I'm telling you, the writing's on the wall. Everyone heard Chris Grier say reset, and everyone thinks, oh, he's safe. He's not safe. I'm telling you. And if he is safe, and if the team falls flat on their face, and then they fire Mike McDaniel, and Chris Grier stays on, you'll have to turn the volume down on this video. I will just tell you that. But I am like so secure in the thought that no, that's not happening. So this is it. This is it for McDaniel. This is it for Grier. This is it for Tua. Tua's back's against the wall now. He needs to stay. The biggest thing and the number one thing is he has to stay healthy. Because when he stays healthy, like even not healthy, 2024, number 4 in EPAs, number 3 in success. 2023, number 2 in EPA, number 2 in success. 2022, number 2 in EPA, number 5 in success. Only quarterback in the NFL to rank top 5 in both EPA and success in each of the last 3 years. Out of the 64 quarterbacks with 200 plus attempts, Tua ranks 3rd in EPA, 3rd in success rate, 2nd in yards per attempt, 2nd in completion rate, and 2nd in 15 plus yard explosive rate. He's a good quarterback. He's above average quarterback. But it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it, especially with a team that has been dying to win a playoff game. And especially with the team that is looking at 2026 and how nice that draft looks. That's all I'm saying. Because I saw someone mock that the Dolphins were picking 3rd. If the Dolphins are so bad they're picking 3rd, Tua is not the quarterback, and they are taking a quarterback. I am telling you that right now. And you could say to me, well, who are we gonna trade him to? No one's gonna take him. You'll be surprised. I heard the same thing about Ryan Tannehill. And we got a 4th. Because we have to pay a little bit more money. You don't think they'll pay a little bit more money? I'm telling you. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think. What's your expectations of Tua? Are you in the same boat as me that this is it? This is his last hurrah. He has to show that he's gotten over the hump and he could stay healthy. Or do you think, regardless, he'll be on the team in 2026? Comment below. Let me know. I will see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow we will do why to be optimistic for 2025. Got a lot of videos planned for you guys. But like usual, stay classy and Finsup.